Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing another StarCraft commentary. We got another game from the MSL Top 100 here, and notably, we don't actually have the MSL100 VOD. I'm trying to track down the VODs because I don't have all of them available. The old torrent is dead, so it's hard to get a hold of these. So point being, sometimes I have to track down VODs, and let's just get out of the way immediately. This is a terrible VOD. This is a 240p VOD, but I did manage to find this game at least. It's 240p, and the audio is pretty terrible as well. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background as much, but the original audio is pretty bad. So this is a pretty bad VOD, but we're gonna do the best we can because I want to try and commentate all these games, and a lot of people have expressed the viewpoint that, hey, you know what, even if the VODs are terrible, we still want to see these cool games from the classic era of StarCraft. So this is from the Pringles MSL from 2006, and this is a game between Yellow and Justin. Justin, aka Bifrost, as he was known sometimes. Yellow is going to be the green Zerg at the bottom left, and I'm going to say orange. Justin is the orange Terran, because he's kind of a yellow Terran, but that would be a little bit too weird to think of it, so I'm going to think of it as orange. I guess it's more orange anyway, but anyway, so Justin's the orange Terran. Usual note, real quick, Yellow is a scumbag match fixer. I actually heard there was a video where some folks were discussing the match fixing that I saw. It was translated in English, and some of the old school guys were talking about how, like, of the people that were match fixers, like, Yellow was like probably the least guilty in a way, that like he was one of the ones that was like pressured a lot to get into it, and so it's like kind of like, you know, you can almost not really blame a kid, because he was like, 17 or something like that at the time, for I still do blame him, but like maybe not blame him as much as, like, someone like Savior, who was a ringleader and did a lot of it anyway. But just a little disclaimer there. Yellow is going after that SCV. It looks like he's gonna pull the SCV off the barracks. Oh, the barracks is incomplete. So he's gonna run that SCV up back to the supply lines. It's taking some damage, but it's gonna go back to mining and be just fine. Or be more protected, I guess, in the mining fields of the minerals than it would be way out in the wilds of building buildings at the front lines. Anyway, but he does have Marines out now. He chased that drone out, so the SCV is gonna be fine. In before 6 minutes from now, some meatless glaives actually hit that SCV and finish it off because he didn't repair it or something. Anyway, this is the map Shin Peaks of Baekdu, by the way. Very interesting map. I haven't watched any games on this map recently, but I do have fond memories of this map, perhaps because I've seen some exciting games from 2007 played on this map. But it's kind of interesting where it has like these small choke points on this path going through the middle. It's a narrow map, vertically speaking, so but you can go around the choke points around the sides too. So it's just a little bit interesting design. And as we've seen a couple peaks of, we've seen that there we go, the minerals on the side there. There's like a backdoor ramp that you can mine out, and it leads to other expansions, and also a backdoor into the main, basically, potentially, if someone wants to do an assault that direction. But in any case, so yeah, Justin was one of these players, if you're not familiar with him, by the way, who in like 2005-ish, was a decent player. He was kind of one of these players that I think that people felt like there was a lot of potential there, but he never really fulfilled that potential. Never really did exceedingly well. I would say Yellow would be something along the same lines. Yellow is a solid player in the Pro League, oh, there, look at that guy. Recording on his camcorder. If someone knows that guy, get me in touch with him, because he probably has better quality VOD on his camcorder than this VOD is on YouTube. In any case, a little bit of pressure going on here. There's only one sunken up right now. The second sunken's morphing, but He does have a handful of slow zerglings. He's going to pull the drones and try and do a surround on the Marines with the Lings and the drones from either side, but the Marines do not get trapped. They're able to pull out there. So that was looked like kind of Justin trying to take advantage of the situation and push in there. Oh, and I forgot they're actually on the same team. We just saw both of them having the same team jerseys with the Sparkies. I believe they run Sparkies. But in any case, it was almost a trap, I guess, like where it looked like Justin had the advantage and he was going in, but it was actually an opportunity for Yellow to take an advantage there. He's actually got 3 Sunkens up now, which might have been a little bit of an overreaction, but this is 2006, so, you know, you see more and more as gameplay advances in, as the meta advances throughout the years, pro gamers cutting corners more and more and more. You know, we saw that especially, you know, in the recent ASL, you know, Mini cutting corners all over the place, and getting a good advantage as a result, for example. But this is 2006, so, you know, wasn't quite, you know, as trimmed. So not too surprising to see the 3rd Sunken Colony in that sense. But you also, you know, you don't want to get broken by a huge push. And we did see that he did know that there was a lot of Marines. He saw that there was 2 barracks, so he didn't know what the follow-up push was going to be. And it looks like, you know, the follow-up was adding more Marines, more medics, and a fire bat, so that could be dangerous. But Justin has gone ahead and expanded instead of just going all in off of 2 barracks or anything like that. So adding more barracks now to try and build up that mid-game army. I'm curious to see what Yellow's tech is at the moment. We saw the lair a moment ago, but I don't remember if we saw a spire or something like that. I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention. But hopefully we'll be able to kind of see what he's doing with that. Interesting, he's got these zerglings on the back. Okay, there's the spire morphing right now. So yeah, I mean, even if you feel pretty safe, you definitely want... Oh, there's a Hydralisk done as well. So kind of curious where he's going with this. If he's going to immediately... If he's getting the Mulists, but he's also immediately researching the lurker tech, or if he's maybe got the spire. It's kind of interesting he got both, you know. Maybe he's trying to do a fake out, maybe he's just trying to make sure that if Justin scans, he won't know what tech he's going for. It's kind of almost a hidden spire. It's in a weird spot off to the far left of the 3rd hatchery. So it's possible that he wanted to do a fake out and say, I'm doing a lurker rush, and then actually get the spire as a follow-up. It's also possible he just was like, oh, I'm just going to get this spire, it's only 150 gas, and then I'll be able to make Scourge and what have you. So Justin, running in with an SCV to scout, sees the lurkers morphing at the front. He knows that he's in for a bad time if he tries to attack directly onto the front of Yellow's expansion. But he does have an engineering bay. He's not really making any turrets though, so it could be that, you know, if Yellow does follow up into a later Mutalisk play. We've got 2 factories building right now, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd hatchery going down to the bottom right for Yellow. He's going to try and get that 3rd base secured, try and get that 3rd gas. And it looks like Justin is going to scout it, more than likely. Yes, he does get the scout off. So he sees the 3rd base location. That's probably going to be his primary target. If I was him, I would be a much better StarCraft player, but I would also be trying to head my forces down to that bottom right immediately to shut down that expansion before it can get well defended. If he gets a couple lurkers on the ramp, there's no way he's getting up that ramp. Without siege tanks, of course, or, you know, irradiates, what have you. But he's maybe laying a trap here though, and that's the thing, is Justin doesn't have mobile detection. He's forced to use scans as he walks across the map. Could be potential problem if there's stop lurkers going on. And so there's these wide ramps are really, oh, look at that. There's like a gap in between the lurkers that I would not be surprised if that was a stop lurker trap. He's set them up on both sides of the ramp instead of spreading them along the ramp evenly. It's almost like he wants to have a like a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but he wants to have like an alley between. There's a word I'm not thinking of right now. Anyway, he wants to have a space between the lurkers so that, like, when the Marines wander in, he can just attack from both sides and demolish stuff. But in any case, it doesn't matter because he's also unburrowed those lurkers. He's continuing to move them around the map to try and take more map control with these lurkers, which he does have control until Justin has, you know, siege tanks. Ooh, a hive already. Until Justin has siege tanks with scans or science vessels, the lurkers basically control the map. And we never did see any Spire units. Again, it could have just been for like, okay, I want to get some Scourge out so that I can protect against, you know, drops or something like that. Not sure. But we have 3 barracks and 2 factories producing right now. It's a very interesting situation here for Justin. He's just getting out a significant amount of force. Okay, he does have 1 turret in the main now, but in any case, the starport is building as well. So it looks like he might just be building up for kind of a 2-base attack. I wouldn't call it a timing necessarily off the top of my head. But he could just be planning on, what is this Mutalisk doing? What is this Mutalisk doing? That's really weird. Is he gonna get a greater Spire or something? This is very strange. But you know, Justin, he might be just building up all his tanks and medic marines and just building up a giant army such that when he gets that first vessel out, he'll just be able to make a strong push. And here we go. Oh, he's got this lurkers on stop. Justin almost senses it. Oh, he goes for the attack. He lets loose with the attack a little bit early. And Justin actually was set up to deal with that. He scans and comes in with his units from the other side. I think it might have been a little bit premature letting those lurkers loose. He was just like, all right, well, I got an opportunity here. I'm going to go for it. I think he should have waited for more units to walk up on top of the lurkers so they could have gotten more significant damage. That's okay, though. He did do some damage. Lost a few lurkers, though, so now Justin is pushing. There's lurkers on this ramp as well. A scan goes off, forcing him to lift those lurkers and fall them back for just a moment. He's actually going to put him back down again. Not sure if that's the right move here. He had the escape on the lurkers, and instead he decided to run them back into danger while they were unburrowed, able to take free damage, and burrow them again and just basically lose those lurkers. Okay, he wasn't trying to go for Greater Spire. He was just trying to get a very quick defiler round, trying to get defilers out. I think that's how he feels he's going to be able to get back or get into this game, get the advantage of the game. I do feel like Justin has the advantage. His army is just so strong right now. He's actually getting out vultures and getting vulture upgrades on the side as well. Very interesting strategy that we're seeing out of Justin here. And that one Mutalisk did run in. It was just kind of like a scouting Mutalisk. He's like, oh, well, a Mutalisk is cheaper than well, actually, I guess the Mutalisk is about the same. No, it's a little bit cheaper than getting the Overlord speed upgrade to use Overlords as scouts. So he's just like, I'm gonna make one Mutalisk run it into the main and see what's going on there. Yellow trying to make a decent army here. He does have the defilers out. I don't think he's quite has the upgrade for the consume yet, but it's going to be pretty short though. Actually, if he doesn't have it yet, he's going to have it very soon. So science vessels are out now. He's pushing in here, pretty strong force. He's got the vessel out. He's got the tanks. This is exactly the composition I was saying he would have. That would be very, very dangerous. The follow-up of the vultures to prevent counterattack with mines is very interesting as well. And it looks like he's going to be able to siege up outside. Now, Yellow is mounting up a significant force here. He's actually going to go in. Does he have Swarm? He must have the Dark Swarm already because he's going in. There he goes. The front tanks go down. Lots of Zerglings. And Yellow is just overwhelming Justin with a lot of forces here. He's going to make a mistake if he goes down that ramp, though. And he has stopped himself before going down the ramp. And but he stopped this push. He killed all the tanks. I believe he killed the vessel as well. I didn't actually see it go down, like, or if I did, I didn't notice. Okay, never mind. The vessel's still alive. JK, just kidding. Anyway, so now Yellow seems to have pretty good map control. I feel like Yellow has taken control of this game. Now he can take other bases. He can hold these ramps very easily. I mean, he still has to worry about the siege tanks, I guess. He can build more siege tanks, but I feel like Yellow's in a strong position right now where he can take a fourth base and kind of move into the late game with an advantage here. He's got the Scourge out patrolling in nice spots, or not patrolling, but I guess it looked like it was patrolling, but it looks like they're just kind of camped out in good spots to stop any drops from coming in. That's kind of the way that Justin can kind of get back in an strongly advantageous position is via drops. Look at these Marines going ham, running right by the lurkers, going straight for the defiler in the middle of that area. The defiler's going to be able to get away though. More lurkers. There's just lurkers everywhere. So he is starting to get a significant amount of vessels out now, though. And that is very strong against this strategy. You know, if he's going for lurker defiler, if he can get out several, a lot of science vessels, as you all know, you can start raiding the crap out of everything. So I think that that's probably Justin's way to take advantage in this game. The ramps are just so easy to hold. They're so strong. If you get some lurkers on those ramps and you get defilers behind the lurkers, plant down a swarm if there's any threat. Also the choke points on this map. There's a lot of chokes on this map too. So it's a very, very strong strategy, very strong choice of composition for yellow. Justin's gonna have a hard time dealing with it. This Overlord's suicidal, okay. And oh, look at those mines, taking out a lot of stuff. There's actually mines behind these tanks as well. Yellow has to be a little bit careful. These mines are gonna destroy a lot of Zerglings. As you can see by the scattered red pixels on the map, this is such a bad video quality. It's like 240p, but it's not even, I think it's actually like bad 240p. It's like not even, I don't know. It's like a blurry 240p, I guess. I don't know. It's bad. I apologize. But any case, it is a good game though. This is really interesting that Justin is actually taking a lot of. Look at the fire bats. Wow, he's actually gone for a lot of fire bats on the map. So this is kind of a strange strategy here. He's keeping his M&M ball pretty decent, but he's going for a lot of fire bats and vultures as well. You know, instead of using the gas for tanks and vessels, he's spreading the gas out a little bit into a lot of decent amount of fire bats. I guess there's not a lot of gas invested though. You know, it's basically like one science vessel to get that amount of fire bats. Anyway, so I think that's pretty strong given the fact that there's Dark Swarm obviously, and he's been going very Ling heavy. Lots of Zerglings involved here. So it's very strong to have those fire bats. The tanks are also going to be helpful. So I feel like Justin is dealing with this pretty well. Like, oh, those tanks sieged up at just the exact wrong moment and wrong place. Yellow's going to be able to come in here with another swarm to follow up as well to really push him back. Justin falling back slightly, but you can see on this map, there's not really a lot of place for him to go. And he's actually just going to try and hold that spot. Instead of falling back farther, he's actually going to siege up right within range of the lurkers, which is maybe not the best idea, but trying to depend on his fire bats to try to hold that position for him and protect the tanks. Justin now trying to push up into this left side expansion, which is brand new. Looks like it's going to die before it even can get any mining going on. Oh, is this a drop going on at Justin's fourth base? No, I guess not. Maybe he didn't know that base was there, and he's trying to drop the top left instead. And it looks like Justin is expecting it. He's run all of his SCVs away from that location. Is it a fake drop? It was a fake drop! He actually just bluffed him into running all of his SCVs away. Either that or Yellow's just bad and he's not dropping any units out because he forgot he dropped there. Yeah, it's just a fake drop. Oh, nice plague went down on that group of bio units from Justin. So taking a lot of damage. Yeah, he basically did a fake drop here. The Marines are not doing a very good job of killing those overlords, but he sent 4 overlords up there just to distract him, and the SCVs ran away. So he actually did, with 4 overlords, he stopped mining at that entire base for a long time and drew the army up to the top left, which means this might be a point where Yellow can strike, and he is striking indeed. He's sending in some forces up the middle to the natural expansion here, but there's so many up and down ramps. Look at that bunker. That's actually a really cool bunker. It's just like in the middle of that spot. It can look down on the ramp below, to the top, and to the bottom, and kind of hold that spot really easily with just 4 Marines. It's actually a very effective little spot there. Yellow not wanting to commit his forces up the ramp. He kind of saw that bunker there and was like, JK, not going to go up there, even though he probably could have taken that position, but didn't know what else was there. Especially if there's fire bats in that bunker. That'd be pretty strong too. So now he's going in with more overlords into the main. Is this another fake drop, or is there actually going to be units in there? I think it would be a strong thing to go in there, and those overlords are still alive in the top middle there. And he's going in here. Now this is a real drop, dropping out some lurkers here. More lurkers dropping out. Where are the cracklings? There's only a handful of cracklings. Does he have any swarms? He does. He puts a dark swarm on the top of Justin's own ramp, so he can't actually get his own units back up into his main to deal with this. Justin is trying to do a counterattack, but Yellow has a strong force here, actually mixing in Hydralisks as well in order to attack the vessels, and he's really pushing Justin back and forth in different spots here. He's got lurkers in the main on top of the barracks, so Justin's in a really bad position here. He's counterattacking the right side base, which Yellow has had up and running for a decent amount of time, but it's going to be so difficult for him to break up that ramp into his own main base to save his barracks. And there's also lurkers on top of the barracks killing stuff. The Defiler's in there as well. It looks like this Defiler has been irradiated, but it's out of energy anyway, and it doesn't have any lings to consume. So, not a huge blow there. The lurkers are still going to be in that position though, and the siege tanks are going to be able to slowly clear out. Once the dark swarms go down, the lurkers are going to be the tanks are going to be able to slowly clear out this location. But if he actually kills these barracks, that could be pretty bad, but there's no hydras. He can lift the barracks if he needs to at a certain point before they're actually going to die. And here comes Yellow moving across the map, and oh, Justin is able to be pushed back here. Just a couple lurkers under the swarm meant that he couldn't use that old trick of running his marines underneath the swarm to protect his own marines against the Hydralisks. This Hydralisk army is really interesting here. He's just like going mass Hydras. He did actually kill 2 of the barracks. 2 more are burning down right now. Justin doesn't seem to want to repair that, and Justin actually getting pinned over into this left side position, and just Yellow is just taking the control of the whole map, but Justin has been counterattacking as well. Justin counterattacking the 3 o'clock position is now going down into the sort of 4 o'clock position as well. And this game has gotten super scrappy, ladies and gentlemen. There's fights going on all over the map, in Justin's main, in the left side of the map, and the right side of the map, in the expansions, all over the place. And so it's actually kind of hard to tell what's going on in this game and who's going to be able to prevail, because I feel like Yellow has the advantage. I feel like he has the momentum. I feel like he has the army composition, but Justin still has a significant amount of map. He hasn't actually lost much economy, so he can fight back very effectively. He has not actually lost any bases, even though Yellow has been winning some battles. You know, losing a couple barracks in the main is not a huge deal, and he's irradiating overlords as well. Oh, there's actually units inside, so that's a strong thing actually, to keep those overlords from being able to kind of run up into his main and get free kills again. So very strong. Irradiates. I thought it was just kind of like another fake drop thing, and he was like, oh well, he's just gonna lose nothing here. And but in any case, he is going to be able to get that going, and it looks like I'm going to have to pause this recording. And you probably saw another skip there for an edit point, because once again I had to stop the cast, and I'm jumping back into it here. But in any case, we are jumping back in. I'm jumping back in just in time to see a nice drop coming in here into the main, and it looks like it's gonna get cleared up very quickly actually. Oh, there's a dark swarm, so maybe it won't be that quick after all. Now the previous drop did kill a bunch of barracks, so it looks like he's rebuilt them. Cracklings are in there under dark swarm doing some serious damage here, and you know, if you look at the minimap right now, it looks like Justin has more control of the map. This game has been so back and forth, it's hard to say who has an advantage here, but I feel like Justin does have an advantage. But this drop is the one way that Yellow can kind of get back, well, not back into this, but that can really kind of turn things around for him, because I think things are kind of leaning a little bit against him. You know, it's kind of like, I imagine like, well, actually, I don't have time to actually explain this metaphor, because there's a nice plague down on some of the vessels. Looks like a couple of vessels might have been plagued or damaged before by the Hydralisks. These Hydralisks, being used against the science vessels has been pretty effective. He's killed several of them so far, and oh, it looks like the main is going to get cleaned up after all. Actually, a single lurker that I don't think was burrowed that whole time. A little bit of a misplay there by Yellow to have not paid enough attention to that drop, perhaps. Maybe he just let it go and just let it do its thing. Anyway, oh, the Hydra's coming in and finishing off all of the plagued vessels. There's only one science vessel left now in the field, so Yellow is actually pushing into this extra expansion of Justin now. He lost his expansion just to the south of this push. It's kind of counterintuitively pushing back around the same point that the attack came from that killed his own expansion, but he's got Dark Swarms, and it looks like the Firebat production has not been kept up with. He's also obviously lost a lot of vessels. Oh, those vessels are just going to run right into the Scourge! No! Oh my gosh, what a blunder. He's just runs his science vessel right in. I mean, I don't know if we call it a blunder actually, because he didn't know those Scourge were there, but definitely a misstep, in at least one sense, because that was very unfortunate. He's like, oh, don't worry, I lost those vessels that were plagued. I got 3 brand new ones. Oh, oops. Never mind. No brand new vessels. In any case, so yellow really clawing his way towards the top of this game. I still think Justin does have the advantage in this situation, but yellow's doing everything he can to kind of get the advantage. Oh, this is nice. He's going to go for another drop here. He's got those 2 lurkers on the ramp, which is a really solid defense as well against the counterattack against that location. He's kind of given up that left side. Here's another drop coming in here. Are we going to see more Dark Swarms, more lurkers? He's actually going to burrow that lurker this time. There's tanks and medic marines in the main, but he's dropping a lot of Hydras. He's going to be able to target down that tank pretty quickly, and he does take it down. So now these Hydras are doing serious damage. No cracklings involved for some reason, but he's going to be able to do serious damage just with the Hydralisks here. The lurkers are providing covering fire against the bio to deal with it. The Hydralisks are numerous enough that they can try and pick off. All those dropships are just coming out at the exact wrong moment, but luckily the Hydralisks were in a feeding frenzy and didn't notice the true cuisine flying over their heads. Would have been a nice catch to get those dropships, because those dropships, now that the tables have turned around against Justin, I feel those dropships would have been a good way to, keep turning it back around towards back in his favor. If you get a couple dropships worth of units and you run into your opponent's expansions, or bypass the lurkers on the ramps and what have you, then it's a really effective way to just gain a series. Oh, look at that plague! Again, I'm sorry, I don't know if there's enough pixels for you guys to even see it, but just to clarify, Justin is playing the yellow or orange Terran, so all those red units were plagued units there, and it looks like the main is going to get cleaned up again, but again, it's bought yellow time to get more stuff up. He's trying to protect this other expansion with a significant amount of lurkers. He's going to try and go in after these tanks that are sieging up on those lurkers, though. Hydra's coming in as well. A nice Dark Swarm in a great position to protect the lurkers, where they can actually still hit those tanks. And the Hydralisks underneath the swarm able to take out the vessels as well. This is going, it still feels kind of like Justin has the momentum, but yellow is just fighting tooth and nail, and just really extremely well utilizing the weapons that he has in his arsenal. He's using the Dark Swarms extremely well, and I really am enjoying watching these Hydralisks mixed into the field, and they're actually doing some solid work. We've seen in past games that I've casted where players try and use Dark Swarm with Hydralisks, and it just doesn't work because the Marines can run out of the Dark Swarm also, but he's pairing it with the lurkers in such a way that it's doing a really good job. Another nice plague there. All of the medics have got to be completely out of energy. I wonder if some of the Marines are actually not even going to get healed up because there's not enough energy to heal them before the next fight. Will he try to delay actually and get those units healed up before he goes in for another attack is a question, so that might have bought him some time. Another nice plague, and here comes one of the drops into the main. Looks like the dropship's going to go down. Only 3 Marines escaping before the vessel itself falls out of the sky from the impact of the Scourge. But 3 Marines is a little bit annoying, but he can probably just send in, honestly, like 3 Zerglings or maybe even 2 Cracklings to be able to deal with those Marines without any support. He sent a whole squad of Hydralisks after them instead, so, that's also a solution. Excuse me. So in any case, yellow, oh look at this, Justin's actually taking that left side base that I think he's cleared it out twice. I think he's cleared that out from yellow twice, and so now he's finally taking it. Oh look at this, he's actually found a nice little spot to siege up from within his main onto that right side expansion of yellows as well. Justin taking the left side expansion. I think yellow, has been fighting really well, fighting very effectively. He's been making a lot of good plays. He's had some beautiful plagues, but he hasn't had the follow-up on the plagues. And that is a large conga line of SCVs that was in grave danger. The mech marines and the science vessels are going to be enough to kind of escort them in. But Yellow's now going to push the Medic Marines out with some swarms. If he can get up that hill and actually, you know, do some damage to that. There was like 20 or 30 SCVs going to that base. He must be mining out in his main or something like that, because he's now going to be able to get in here. And the SCVs are, what are they doing? He'd be better off attack moving, I think, rather than just running him through this lurker fire. What is going on? Oh my God, what is he doing? Why is he running his SCVs through that? I'm staying with family right now, and the family cat just winced because I was so alarmed. I was like, what is he doing? And the cat was like, whoa, what's going on? I don't know why the human is yelling like this. But Justin making a huge blunder. And like, I mean, I don't know what else he does with those SCVs, but running them through massive lurker fire is not the solution. Have them surround the Hydras and attack. At least they get some damage done that way. They probably kill off a few Hydras. Run them into the back corner to hide for a bit, perhaps. But I was just thinking, like, okay, Justin, I think, is finally taking a firm grip on this game. But in fact, he loses that left side base that he had taken from Yellow, loses a bunch of SCVs as well. So now even if he takes another base, he won't be able to supply it. Yellow is mining. We're getting a nice little tour of Yellow's territory. He's mining at 2 bases right now. These Marines are not quite going to survive long enough to actually change that number. Yeah, defense matrix on 1 Marine isn't going to change things, buddy. Sorry. It looks like he might actually get back to the safety of the tanks, but there's so many units here. I feel like Justin has recently mined out most of his bases. He was really depending on that left side base to bring in some income, and now he's actually not able to do that. I mean, you can kind of see his army production is slowing down unless we see another big army oh, losing these vessels for free is terrible as well. And now the cat has had enough of this game. The cat is leaving the room, which I think means that she believes that Justin is out of this game, and she's like, you know, it's like when in the 7th inning of a baseball game when one team is up by 10 runs, you know, people start to leave early because it's like, well, what's the point of watching the rest, right? And that's the kind of the situation here. Anyway, Justin, yeah, he's mined out pretty much all of his bases. He does actually clean up that left side 9 o'clock base, or maybe 8 o'clock base, but you know, landing there and getting SCVs there is another question altogether. Yellow is taking control of the middle. He's continued to kill multiple science vessels throughout the course of this. He kills another science vessel hanging around in the middle of the map there, and you know, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is from, I believe, 2006. So we can't hold them to quite the same standard that you would from, you know, ASL Finals players from 2021, or for that matter from OSL Finals players from 2010. But a lot of mistakes have been made in this game by both players, and it's been interesting to see that turn into this back and forth game. Really interesting play by Yellow to just, you know, be very tenacious, you know, kind of rush for that hive tech without even really having the gas to support it, and then using the hive tech to kind of secure more gases and be able to keep his production up, and then just hanging on. And this is a good map because there's so many ramps and chokes and what have you. It's a good map for dark swarms and lurkers, but he has used them to their fullest in order to stay alive in this game. And there's the GG coming from Justin. Yellow takes the game. Nice exasperated look there from Justin, having lost that game. But pretty amazing play, I gotta say. Again, you know, Yellow's a dirty match fixer one way or another. You know, you can classify him as maybe one of the lesser problems in that, but I can't give him too much respect, unfortunately. And that's just, you know, if you disagree, that's fine. But you gotta compliment him on his play there, at least. And very, very interesting, interestingly played, and very, very cool strats there. I love the addition of the Hydralisks, even against tanks. You know, normally the tanks would have been the counter to the Hydralisks, even under Swarm. He's just, I'm gonna like mix in a little bit of everything here, sacrifice a few lurkers in order to get extra Hydralisks, and just managed to play pretty well the whole time, and utilize what he had. So in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, I'm hopefully gonna be able to get out some replay commentaries. I'm gonna be trying to switch back and forth between these old VODs and some actual self-made VODs with pixels in them as well. Can't make any promises because the old VODs are actually a little bit easier to cast, so sometimes when I don't have time, I want to get a game out. I'm doing in doing these MSL 100 games and other games like that. So anyway, but either way, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. GG.